with ZipRecruiter.
An investigation underway in Rutherford, New Jersey, where a synagogue burned down in a 4-alarm fire this morning.
The Rutherford, New Jersey mayor, as well as the police chief, tell us that the rabbi, along with his family, was inside of this house of worship when this fire had kicked off. They are all safe. The structure, which we're told is 3 stories, had collapsed. Back in 2012, the synagogue was firebombed. Now, investigators are on scene looking into any connection. One neighbor who I spoke with said he hoped that there was no criminality.
ABC's Phil Tate. The Florida Department of Health has identified Keeley Farms Dairy as the source of raw milk that's made 21 people sick with E. coli. 6 kids under the age of 10 have been infected since late January. OpenAI has launched its latest artificial intelligence, GPT-5. ABC's Rebecca Jarvis.
Almost 10% of the world is using ChatGPT every week. They are stressing that GPT-5 will especially be valuable to writing, healthcare, and coding. For the first time, it is free to all users.
Longtime OpenAI partner Microsoft said it will incorporate GPT-5 into its own AI assistant, Copilot. Curiosity strikes again. NASA's rover has captured an image on Mars of a coral-like rock that's estimated to be several billions years old. NASA says when liquid water still existed on Mars, it carried dissolved minerals into rock cracks, and once the water dried, it left hardened minerals behind. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
Now there's a new way to take charge of your blood sugar. Introducing new Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula from the makers of the nation's best-selling garlic supplement. New Garlic helps maintain healthy blood sugar levels with clinically supported levels of garlic, plus a custom blend of vitamins and minerals, and it's odor-free. Take charge of your blood sugar with New Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KVNU.
Now 5:05, and with your KVNU News headlines as we're heading into a beautiful weekend, I'm Will Fiore. Well, Cache Valley residents will soon have another local store for luxury blankets as Minky Couture's preparing to open its 8th Utah location in Logan. Now, the company is known for its designer blankets, bought the former Wimmer's Sewing and Vacuuming store along Main Street back in April, and has been renovating the space ever since. Now, according to Minky Couture's chief of operations, Christine Snow, the company had been looking for a Logan location for years. Now, Minky Couture is targeting an opening date of August 28th, though it may be pushed to early September, depending on construction. Snow said the company is excited to be a part of the Logan community and is currently hiring for the new store. In other news, a Bannock County woman is now facing felony charges after she was accused of stealing $1,800 in lottery tickets from her Pocatello employer. Suzanne Doreen Irene Stone has been charged with grand theft and illegally presenting lottery tickets. Now, according to police, she allegedly printed dozens of Instaplay tickets and stole several scratch tickets back in 2024. Now, store managers discovered the discrepancy between sales and end-of-day reports and notified police. Now, while the stolen tickets were valued at over $1,800, Stone's winnings reportedly only totaled $375. Now, this marks the 3rd reported lottery ticket theft in the county in recent months. Stone's preliminary hearing is coming up later on this month. If she's convicted, she could face almost 30 years in prison. And a new wildfire ignited in northeastern Utah near the Wyoming border, and that's forcing the evacuation of nearly 100 campers. Now, the Beulah fire started east of Mirror Lake Highway yesterday and grew to an estimated 200 to 400 acres. Now, Utah fire officials say the fire continues to spread and is threatening nearby structures. Now, a Utah Department of Public Safety helicopter was called in yesterday to assist with evacuations. Now, due to the fire's rapid growth and difficult terrain, Forest Service officials say it's becoming a top priority. Now, firefighters have been parachuting in to fight the blaze, and a skimmer plane is also being ordered to assist. Of course, also closer to us, a fire starting yesterday afternoon in just south of Manaway in Sardine Canyon. That is the Perry Fire, and it's estimated to have burned between 5 to 10 acres. It is quite visible as you're traveling through Sardine Canyon, and motorists are being advised that they no longer need to call law enforcement to report the fire, as crews are on the scene trying to get that local fire under containment. Well, weather-wise, going to enjoy some cooler temperatures as we head into the weekend, as it's only been into the low 80s today. Now tonight we'll drop into the mid-50s, and then tomorrow going to be right around the mid-80s. High 80s coming on Sunday. We'll see mostly sunny skies through the weekend, and 90s returning for the first of next week. And if you're looking for building and help, whether you're building a home or maybe you're just looking for a renovation, contact Edson Builders. They recently teamed up with Innovative Home Finishes to give you a better building experience. 232-2680 is their phone number. And that's your Friday afternoon headlines. I'm Will Feelright.
When Dad's roof started leaking, we didn't know what to do. He's a retired firefighter, always helping others, never asking for help. Thanks to Roof Rescue, he's getting a brand new roof for free. Roof Rescue is giving back to veterans, teachers, first responders, real community heroes. If you know someone who deserves it, nominate them at roofrescueusa.com. When you need expert roof repair, trust Roof Rescue. Call 435-999-4268 or visit roofrescueusa.com. Roof Rescue, providing watertight peace of mind.
Local news and the best talk. News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
Summer is here and the adventure is on. Hit the road, trails, or water with confidence because Discount Tire and Automotive's 49th anniversary sale is going strong. Save big on RV, ATV, and boat trailer tires just in time for all your summer fun. Get a free 4-wheel alignment with any 4-tire purchase, a $129.99 value. That's right, absolutely free. Discount Tire and Automotive has the lowest tire prices guaranteed. There's no reason to shop anywhere else, in-store or online. Tight on cash? We've got flexible options, 12 months, no interest, layaway, and no credit check financing. But don't wait, summer's flying by, and so are these savings. Book online now at webtires.net or cruise into Discount Tire and Automotive, where the deals and the service are always in season, with 3 convenient locations in Logan, Providence, and Smithfield.
Discount Tire, so much more than a tire store.
The Ramsey Show.
There's this $15 billion company that does food orders, and they've hired Amazon execs who've come in and changed it. Well, one of the warehouse managers got disciplined because a package was not packed in 3 minutes. The employee went to the bathroom. The higher-up comes in the next day and sends an email and says, what are we going to do about this? How do we anticipate this? Gee, I don't know. Not leadership, nannyship.
Yeah, this gives me gas.
Can't go to the bathroom. Oh, hey, you only have 2 minutes.
Dave Ramsey, evenings on KVNU 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People movie show with Andy Morgan here in the studio. We've got a lot to cover. Looking ahead, the dog days of movie season. Looking back on a few things that we've missed, just to let everyone know, Andy and I were just talking. Neither one of us had a chance to see the Weapons, which is that's the big opener this weekend.
Yeah,
right?
And Freakier Friday.
Freakier Friday.
Yeah, Freakier Friday and Weapons. Those are the 2 big ones. To your point,
yeah.
But everything else. I mean, there's still a lot in theaters. If you've missed things, F1. Fantastic Four, we were just talking about Superman, Jurassic World Rebirth, which is also, I believe, it might be on digital on demand now, too, if you want to stay home.
Oh, really? Already?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then The Naked Gun, we talked about that last week. The Bad Guys 2, that's also in theaters. There's another movie called Sketch that opened up.
That looks interesting.
This is one of, I can't remember the guy that played Shazam.
Yeah.
That's, yeah. Well, anyway, we'll just leave that one alone.
Lost his marbles is what
a little
happened.
bit.
I don't know what's going on there.
Somebody's like, he hasn't lost his marbles.
No,
he's seeing things clearly now.
Yeah, he was talking about chemtrails the other day, and
yeah. And then next week, the big release next week is Bob Odenkirk. We talked about this a little bit last week. Is Nobody 2. If you haven't seen Nobody,
yeah,
the first one from a couple years ago, it was like middle-aged John Wick, just middle-aged 50-year-old guy that
gets mad about a thing and
just happens to have some very specific skills.
Yeah. Those movies are always fun.
You know, I also
they're forgettable, but you have fun.
Yeah, it's one of those you'll probably never see it again, or maybe it's one of those you're laying on the couch on Sunday afternoon and you go, oh,
yeah,
it's this, and we only have 15 minutes left. I guess I'll watch it.
Yeah, like Liam Neeson's whole career basically up until The Naked Gun.
You know, this is a little farther out, but I have to call this out. I haven't had a chance to post this on Andy at the Movies yet, but there's I think you and I talked about this just separate, like off to the side one time, but we were talking about the screenwriter David Koepp, who's written a lot of your favorite movies. Not you personally, but you, listener.
No, he really...
A lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, if I go down, just like a quick, breeze over his. I mean, he wrote Jurassic World Rebirth. He wrote Indiana Jones: The Dial of Destiny. These are, movies that, recent movies. He also wrote The Mummy with Tom Cruise. He wrote Jack Ryan movies, Angel and Demons, War of the Worlds. Big collaborator with
not the one that just came out. Don't see that.
Not
by
Ice
the
Cube.
Way.
This is big,
I watched some of that, and I didn't even make it 20 minutes.
No, he's a big collaborator with Steven Spielberg. A lot of stuff. I mean, Lost World. He wrote the first Mission Impossible, the Brian De Palma one. He wrote Jurassic Park. Anyway, the reason I bring this up is David Koepp is also a novelist, and he has written a couple books. You and I talked about one. He wrote Aurora, that you and I both
really unique.
Yeah, very interesting book.
Yeah,
and then he also wrote this one called Cold Storage, and I'd heard this was being a movie, becoming a movie. What is really interesting though is, I read the book, and when you're reading a book, you try to put faces with the characters. And sometimes, you're doing casting in your head without even knowing you're doing it. But the cast for this, they released a trailer I think earlier this week. I would have never in a million years guessed the cast. You triggered this with me because you said Liam Neeson. And Liam Neeson is playing one of the main characters, one of the main investigators in this. But it also has Joe Keery, who was, Stranger Things fame, playing Steve in Stranger Things. He's in it. I would have not picked him, but it works. And really? What I liked about it was, the trailer actually, if you're a fan of the book, the trailer showed quite a bit, I thought. It really, really just kind of laid bare what it's about, but it looks fun, and it comes out. It doesn't. I don't think it has a release date. It's 2026. My guess would be this is probably going to be like in April or May or early summer potentially. But yeah. Anyway, that trailer came out. You reminded me when you said Liam Neeson. I wanted to go back to another thing too. We were talking about before we went to the top of the hour to start hour 2 was. We were talking about Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts, and Brave New Captain America, Brave New World, and how these movies, really hadn't blown it out of the water on the box office. And I had said to you during the break that I feel like people are looking back, from 2008 to 2019, these what we'd consider kind of the first wave of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that
when everyone was still kind of looking at it as just independent movies.
No, I think people looked back with rose-colored glasses. Was the comment I made? I don't think they remember like all those movies didn't do great. And a lot of them weren't even reviewed great. Yeah,
was it the second or the third Iron Man that was actually panned?
It was the second one. The second one with that had Mickey Rourke in it.
Yeah.
The third one they were like, hey, this is
that one.
They loved the third one. But so you and I were, again, talking in the break. I counted 37 distinct Marvel movies released from 2008 to 2025. So current, right, through the Fantastic Four. And this, I should point out, too, we also know that Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four both are still in theaters, so they could still eke out a couple more bucks. But out of the 37 movies, we kind of split that in half. And I counted, I think in the first half, I counted 6 movies that had been released post-Endgame that were that made a lot of money, that did well, out of the 37. And then I counted the back half, the ones that it didn't do as well, right? And there were 6 movies. So again, take stats or whatever they want, whatever you want them to be.
Yeah.
But the way I look at that is that out of 37 movies, right, there are 12. There's 6 that were released. There's 12 movies that have released post Endgame, right? Yeah. And half of those are in the top 18, and the other half are in the bottom 18.
Okay.
And so what that tells me is that there's no. Statistically, these movies don't do as bad or as good as the whole of the Marvel Universe has done in its history. Just people don't remember the ones like Thor 2, and they don't remember Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness,
That was so awful.
They don't remember,
horrible.
Again, Civil War, that only made $400 million. Like, that had the whole crew. And I know $400 million is a lot, but it's not that much more than some of these other. It's $100 million. Again, $100 million is $100 million, but there's just like Guardians of the Galaxy is beloved. People love that movie.
Yeah,
and that only made $330 million at the box office, right?
Yeah.
Thor Ragnarok. Think about this. Think how much we love Thor Ragnarok. That movie was awesome.
That's the one that surprises me.
That's $315 million.
Yeah, box office haul, because that was an excellent movie.
Captain America Winter Soldier would put the Russo brothers on the map as, the directors of Endgame and Infinity War.
Yeah.
$259 million in 2014. Now, you know what I mean? It did not.
So we remember... We're looking at everything as we were looking at 2018.
Yeah, and 2019. We're expecting everything, and honestly...
But a lot before then and everything after then is kind of settled to normal.
What I think happens...
So is it fair to say 2018 and 19, movies in general, not just Marvel, 2018 and 19, they were actually flukes, kind of?
I wouldn't say those years are flukes, because if you look at like the domestic box office year over year, right, from a yearly standpoint...
So it was growing steadily?
Well, not necessarily, but those weren't like... those were big years, box office, especially 2018.
Yeah.
That was Black Panther and Endgame. But there was almost 1,000 movies that were released in 2018.
And they were all doing pretty well.
Yeah, if we look at like the top 10,
that was just a year everyone wanted to be in a movie theater.
But see, I would go back and see, again, we're looking at things through rose-colored glasses, because there are really 3 movies that stand out, maybe 4, right, that knock things out of the park for the entire whatever. Black Panther made $700 million at the box office. That was the number 1 movie. And then Infinity War made almost $700 million. That was number 2. Incredibles made $600 million, and then Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom made over $400. So right there, your top 4, are all kind of beefy. Your top 3 especially. Yeah. But if you go past that, if you go out of the top 5, everything's like 220.
So you're starting to see the same numbers we're seeing this year.
Yeah. So
that puts it in perspective.
Yeah. So what I would
I am looking at this and saying, why is Superman not doing better than it is? Why didn't Fantastic Four have the opening weekend it did instead of the one you would expect? And so maybe actually the way to look at this is actually probably
just normal,
very normal. And they're doing. They're making money.
What you're missing,
but you expect them to be.
Yeah, and what we're missing here is a couple things. Is you don't have any, other than like Minecraft and Lilo and Stitch, which both are over 400 million domestic. And we should point out to audiences.
It still surprises me that Minecraft is going to end up being
we're talking about domestic
money maker of the year.
And we're talking domestic numbers here too. Worldwide, the studios look at overall, worldwide. But I do want to point out, this is where like online punditry just drives me nuts, because anytime, if there's a movie that's released in the next 3 months before the end of the year, if we go September, October, November, December, something comes out and just blows up, then we'll hear the whole say we told you cinemas aren't dead. And then as soon as something underperforms, they're going to be back to the keyboard saying, so our movie theater's dead.
That's how I kind of got on this and why I wanted to bring it up today, because I got caught up in, now these were old posts on Twitter, but I got caught up in a critic conversation. A bunch of critics they were from the East Coast, but they were talking about this on Twitter in regards to Superman's opening weekend. Mm-hmm. And this was like the Monday and Tuesday after the opening weekend. I don't remember how I came across this, but they were basically doing that, they were saying this movie should be a huge blockbuster. It isn't going to be. Movie theaters are dead. Movies are dead. And I was reading through it, and it's not true, obviously.
No, they're not.
Why is everyone responding this way every time a movie is not Avengers Endgame on opening weekend?
Yeah, no,
box office hall-wise.
Yeah, and I think there's two things. I think the pundits get it wrong, and then I think the other people that get it wrong too are the studios. I think the studios are on a hair trigger sometimes, and they react so poorly.
They do seem to panic easily.
The reason I brought this up too is we were talking, Marvel's been very kind of like, hey, look over here, with Spider-Man Brand New Day or whatever. That comes out next summer, and Marvel usually tries to keep things, a little bit close to the chest. They'll drop a teaser, they'll have some posters, maybe a few stills or something that'll come out. But they've had a lot of behind-the-scenes footage that has been approved to be released of Tom Holland, running in the suit, of Spider-Man swinging. I saw something. They showed John Bernthal coming out as the Punisher. These are not things that are being illegally. Marvel keeps a tight ship, and so I think they're worried that these next three movies, Brand New Day, Doomsday, and Secret Wars, there's some worry there, right? Some tension.
But I don't think it's justified.
Yeah,
I think if they're doing, I think if they just keep doing what they've been doing this year at least, looking at just Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, it was, so this is such a subtle thing, but I loved in Fantastic Four, I love that it's the future, but also 1950.
Yeah.
And that's a really subtle thing, but it made everything looks unique. Everything is a little just off. And it's a creative move that really helped the rest of the plot. And it actually plays a role in the plot. But I think even bigger, if you look at the writing on Fantastic Four, you have so many, not really a spoiler, I guess, but you have these, they've brought back, they lost this with Avengers. They had to, but they brought back kind of the I want to say the sympathetic villain, but that's not really it. But you have these villains where you can kind of, the main bad guy, is trying to get out of basically a million-year-long curse.
Well,
he's doing really evil stuff to try and get out of it, but you know what I mean. And then his accomplice, bad guy, is also she's also been trapped and tricked into this.
Yeah.
And Marvel, that's what Marvel was always good at. And I think Avengers actually got them away from that. They had to, because at a certain point you can't sympathize anymore with this guy, with the big baddie. But back to what you said earlier, maybe they'd be better off to just stay away from the big baddie. Have smaller baddies.
I don't even know if it's
would that be more compelling for people?
I think if I was head of the studio, I think what I would be doing was I would be trying to keep more things under wrap, be a little bit more teasy with stuff. And I also think, what do you do, right? If you're running a business and it's just going gangbusters and you can kind of spend like the Dickens and do whatever you want. I don't even know if that's a phrase, but we're going to make it one today. Spend like the Dickens.
I think I've heard. I heard my great grandma use that phrase once.
Well, I think spend like the Dickens is probably the opposite, because. Well, I don't know. Did Charles Dickens spend a lot?
I think she knew him.
Oh no, actually, that can't be. I don't know. Maybe it is. It says, I just Googled it and it said, spend like the Dickens means to live a life filled with lavish spending and even financial risk taking, much like Charles Dickens himself did, despite writing extensively on the perils of debt and advocating for sensible budgeting. I don't know if that's a real thing or not.
That's funny.
But I'm going to use that phrase going forward. But what I would do is, if we're bringing in less, right, then what you have to do is you kind of got to go back to ground zero where you're saying, okay, look, I can't cast a cast where I've got, guys making, $10 million and I've got to cut the budget a little bit. I've got to be a little bit more guerrilla in my tactics.
Now I guess that applies to so many things because the Jurassic Park movie this year, I think this is similar to what we're saying about Marvel and their marketing, resting a little bit too much and relying a little bit too much on their what they believe is this big audience base instead of guerrilla marketing, instead of getting people excited like they had to do with those early movies. They don't do that anymore. It's the George Lucas prequel thing, but
nobody does it anymore.
Jurassic Park's the same way. That if they'd had to market that movie, cast that movie, write that movie as a risk, like that very first Jurassic Park movie, I think it would have been a better movie.
Well,
if they were producing it and making this movie thinking we don't know if this is going to make money, I think it would be a better movie. And you go see that Jurassic Park movie, and all you see through that whole thing is the same thing that held George Lucas back with the prequels.
Go back to
he didn't care if it made money. He didn't care if it was popular. He just wanted to make it.
Go back to the Jurassic World reboot. I mean, yes, Chris Pratt was kind of on the up and up, right? But
that was a risk.
Yeah, but he was just starting out on kind of his trajectory.
Yeah.
Casting Bryce Dallas Howard as the female lead. I mean, that's not, no offense to Bryce Dallas Howard, that's not Scarlett Johansson.
No. It was a risk, and it made it fresh and
you have a cast.
More creative.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm a big believer. I was talking to some friends about this. We were actually at Fantastic Four, and I was waiting out in the lobby to give some tickets to some folks, and they said, don't you want to be in and see the trailers? And I said, no, I've seen them all.
Yeah.
And my comment to that was really everything's on YouTube or it's on Instagram or TikTok. Yeah. And
it's harder to get people excited. I get that.
No. And so, I almost like, you know what I miss? I miss walking into a theater, the lights go down for the trailers, and the trailer comes up, and
you haven't seen it before.
I don't know what it is.
I agree. And I honestly think that we got to go to the news. Can we put a pin in this? Because we can rope this back into the theater chains too, and how they could actually coordinate and play a part in this a little bit. But
and we should talk too, because we mentioned the Dog Days of Summer, and I actually,
bad. I didn't realize that
the Dog Days of Summer was actually ending in 3 days. But we have until
for the movie season.
Yeah,
it's summer until the end of September. No, really.
Yeah, and I wanted to give the listeners an idea of kind of what they can expect between now and I would say the end of September.
Okay.
Once we hit October, that's when we're getting into what I would say like fall holiday movie season, award season. But there's still a few pleasant surprises, I think.
Quite a few I'm looking forward to.
In the next 6 weeks.
Including, Weapons in theaters here in Logan this weekend. Neither of us got a chance to see that one, but we'll talk about it a little bit. And there's a few coming behind that as well. Yeah. All right. Kind of a remaining weeks of summer movie season preview coming up after this look at the news with KVNU's Will Feel Right.
Well, thank you, Jason. Firefighters are battling a new wildfire close to home for us that ignited yesterday in Sardine Canyon. Now, according to Utah Fire Info, the Perry Fire is located about 5 miles southwest of Manaway Reservoir on the Uinta-Wasatch Cache National Forest. Now, the fire has burned approximately 5 acres in timber. No structures have been reported damaged or threatened, and no evacuations have been ordered, but for firefighter safety, people are being asked to avoid using the Willard Peak Road to Inspiration Point while crews are working to suppress the fire. Now, the cause of the fire remains under investigation, but fire officials said the public does not need to continue reporting the fire to emergency dispatch. In other news, a 50-year-old Logan man has confessed to downloading hundreds of images of child pornography. Brady Lynn Thurston was arrested back in October after officers served a warrant to his home. According to court records, Thurston appeared earlier this week in Logan's First District Court, where he pleaded guilty to 10 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor. Now, according to prosecutors, Logan City police officers received a cyber tip back in September of last year from a cloud-based storage provider of Verizon Wireless. They had reported that a user had uploaded files to their servers containing depictions of minors engaging in sexually explicit conduct. Now, police say altogether they found hundreds of images of child sexual abuse material. Thurston is currently out of jail on pretrial supervision. He's scheduled to be sentenced in September and could face up to 15 years in prison. And distinguished historian Richard E. Turley Jr. will be the featured speaker during the annual Leonard J. Arrington Mormon History Lecture coming up September 18th at Utah State. Now, his lecture will be titled Team History, the Latter-day Saint Historical Enterprise from 1986 to 2025. Turley is the former managing director of the Church History and Family History departments, and he has helped shape significant historical projects for nearly 40 years. Now, the series was established by Arrington, one of the West's most distinguished historians, and has become a leading forum for prominent historians to address topics related to Mormon history. Well, we've enjoyed some really nice, cooler temperatures this afternoon as we've been in the low 80s today, and looks like we're going to stay in the 80s through the weekend. As tonight, temperatures are going to drop into the low 50s, high 40s. Tomorrow, other than a few clouds, we're going to enjoy lots of sunshine for Saturday and into Sunday. Tomorrow should be around 85 for a high, and then high 80s coming on Sunday. It's Monday and into Tuesday when we should get back into the low 90s. And weather this hour brought to you by Mount Logan Laundry. If it's time to clean up those quilts and blankets before you get them out for winter, Mount Logan Laundry has the large capacity washers and dryers that'll save you time and a lot of money. It's Mount Logan Laundry in Logan and Brigham City, the cleanest spot in town. And with your KVNU News headlines on this Friday afternoon, I'm Will Feelright.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Chuck Sievertson. The shooter, who Atlanta police say fired from atop a campus drugstore at Emory University, is dead. Police say there was gunfire between officers and the shooter. Here is some of it posted on social media. Police say one officer was wounded. This person works on the Emory campus.
They've been saying, run, run. And so then all of a sudden, a fire truck, woo, a siren's coming, and they block the street right here. And the fireman says, run, shooter, run. So everybody starts running.
This man says his wife works in the area.
My wife called and was whispering on the phone and saying that there's, sounds like there's a shooter, glasses breaking all around, and she and several of her colleagues are on the floor hiding in an office in Building 24.
No word on who the shooter was. This is ABC News.
My neighbor stopped by the other day to borrow a torque wrench, and he said, "How does your house stay so cool in this heat?" I'll tell you what I told him. Call Cardall's Insulation and get your insulation checked. I'm serious. That's what I did, and I can't believe the difference it has made in our home. Or maybe you just want to insulate your garage or an attic. Call Cardall's. When you call Cardall's, make sure to ask them about the $1,200 tax credit. 755-5012. Or look them up online. Cardall's Insulation, 755-5012.
This is Jordan with Primrose Home Care and Hospice. When it comes to home care, it's important for you to know you do have a choice. If you or a loved one is in need of home care services, remember Primrose Home Care and Hospice believes in treating the patient, not the problem. We work directly with you and your doctor to create a health plan that's catered to your needs. Our team is devoted to providing options in the freedom and safety of your own home. Call for a free home safety evaluation, 787-1369, and visit primrosecare.com. Primrose Home Care and Hospice. We're your home team.
Here's what some of our patients have to say about how Red River has changed their lives.
So before I started at Red River, I was having a lot of stomach pain. I was overweight, severe anxiety. I had been to multiple doctors. We had done tests, and no one could find anything that was wrong. And then a friend mentioned Red River, and I went and saw him, and it has changed my whole life. I'm sleeping through the night. I have energy for my kids. I've lost 30 pounds. No more stomach pains. I just feel really good.
Our goal is to focus on imbalances that are driving your condition or symptoms, not just give you Band-Aid answers. So when a patient comes to our office, we'll sit down with them extensively and go over their blood work to find out the underlying imbalances driving their symptoms.
Call Red River Health and Wellness at 855-55-RIVER with offices in Logan, South Jordan, Springville, and St. George.
Call Red River today.
At Mountain Valley Heating and Air Conditioning, Feel the Love is more than just heating and cooling. It means giving back. 5 complete HVAC systems will be donated to a deserving person or family. Feel the love and nominate that person or family in need at mtnvalleyhvac.com. Nominate prior to September 1st, 2025. See website for all details.
Searching for something fun to do with the whole family? Look no further than the Cache County Fair and Rodeo, where there's something for everyone. The carnival and vendors open at 4 p.m. every day. There's always something exciting happening at the Cache County Fair, with livestock shows and entertainment happening all the time. Bring the family to the rodeo every night, starting at 8 p.m. Each night has its own exciting theme and specialty acts. Our rodeo announcer, Reed Flake, will be there every night to bring the rodeo fun. I'm Abby Spencer, your Cache County Fair and Rodeo Queen, and I'm so excited to see you all there.
Come on out, let's have some fun at the Cache County Fair.
Movie show with Andy Morgan here in the studio. It is still warm out there. What it is.
We need to drop some movie trivia and see if we can get some folks to answer. It's tough with trivia these days because you have Google, especially if I can't see them.
That's
like,
kind of so. We used to do. Remember, we used to do the Friday news quiz.
That's true.
That's sort of why we stopped doing that. Is that you couldn't really quiz people because you can just, be talking to us on the phone and at the same time look it up.
Yeah. No.
So, I have a really quick thing. Have you seen the trailer? You told me to watch a trailer before we started here, and I accidentally let it keep going, and it rolled over to this other one. I don't have the sound on, but there's this movie coming out produced by Jordan Peele called Him.
Yeah.
Where
it's a football player.
As far as I can tell, it's a football player that enters a training camp that he finds out later is a cult.
I think,
and they're actually like.
I think it's more sell your soul to the devil to be successful.
People aren't surviving kind of thing, and they're being tortured by the coach. And this looks like a very tense movie.
I want you to know
with Marlon Wayans of all people
that I saw. I don't even know what this is. I don't even know where to even start with this. I saw a trailer the other day that came up, and it was for a new Ridley Scott venture. And it was.
That's always a roll of the dice.
And I thought it was a movie at first, and I thought, if this is a movie, this is terrible. It was one of the worst trailers I've ever. I'm not joking, Jason. It is literally one of the worst trailers I've ever seen. It was they unveiled it at the San Diego Comic-Con just a few weeks ago, and it was basically Johnny Depp, and he is. And it was a trailer, and I thought it was a trailer for a movie. And I thought, if this is Ridley Scott's movie, he has officially lost it. Like they need to take his chair away and his megaphone and be like, "No,
enough.
Go to bed, Grandpa.
Stop it.
Go to bed." But it's not. It was actually a trailer for the new Ridley Scott comic book, Hyde.
Oh, really?
It's a graphic novel series. Either way, I'm just going to tell you again, hated every second of it. So I hope maybe the graphic novel will be great, but it was it was just awful. I just got nothing else to say. I was like, what am I watching? Hey, really quick, because I know we got about 20 minutes left here, but I wanted to kind of give some people like a layout of kind of what's coming. We talked about Freakier Friday opening today, Weapons opening today. But as we get into next week, there are other movies that people, things that people can get excited about. One that I thought was interesting, and I don't know if you've seen this. This has kind of gone under the radar. But do you remember a movie in the 80s called Red Sonja that had Sylvester Stallone's wife? Remember? Well, Brigitte Nelson.
This was
remember?
Ninja action movie kind of thing.
Yeah, it was like kind of Gladiator, almost like Xena Warrior Princess.
Yeah.
Well, anyhow, so Red Sonja is coming back, and it's in theaters next week for I think like a day. You're not going to see this up here, so if you want to see this, you're going to have to head south, and then it'll go. And then it goes streaming. I don't know exactly where it's streaming, but that's next week on the 13th, I believe.
Really?
And then there's also another movie. We don't talk about streaming a lot on this, but this is another brutal trailer where I was like, well, I'm not getting that 3 minutes back. There's a movie coming out. It looks like a really actually kind of not like an NSFW kind of Netflix show called Fixed, about some dog that, it's like he's that his day is coming, and so what's he gonna do? It's kind of I think if it was like a movie like Strays from a couple years ago, I might think differently,
like a straight up R-rated comedy.
Then it's
kind of
animated, for some reason just bothers me. I'm just like, I can't watch this.
It's a little.
It feels like it should be a child show, but
no one wants to do that.
No. Then next Friday, the big movie coming out is Nobody 2. We talked about that. Bob Odenkirk. That is a sequel.
Yeah.
There are a few other movies. There's some limited releases that'll hit streaming like in September. One that I'm so surprised how under the radar this is flying. It's a new Denzel Washington Spike Lee movie. It's called Highest to Lowest. Have you seen the trailer for this?
I just saw that last night.
Yeah, it comes out in limited release on the 15th of August.
Really?
Will not be here. And if it hits Cache Valley, I'll be really surprised. And then it streams on Apple TV beginning of September. I think right after Labor Day. So. Again, weird. I don't know. Again, if it's one of those like awards type things where they're just really being. It's like, hey, it's limited because it's so good.
That's kind of interesting that they.
I always laugh about that. It's like when these awards type movies, they're like, hey, it's so good you can't see it.
That is. Speaking of things hitting the streaming services, I told you about this one. It's old.
Sorry.
But you can see this on... so I was a big fan of Adolescence earlier this year on Netflix. This is director Philip Barantini, I think you say his name. But he's known for these... He did Ned Kelly and Enola Holmes 3, and like he's all, like you said with the other guy, all over the place. But he did... Adolescence was done in this kind of one continuous shot sort of thing. So Adolescence is a series. It has 6 episodes. It's excellent. It's troubling. Don't expect this to make you feel good, but it's so well done, and it's actually tackling some kind of contemporary themes that I think are on, especially parents, on a lot of parents' minds right now. It's really well done. Kind of dark, kind of a downer, but every episode is a single shot, and it's fascinating to watch how they've choreographed these hour-long episodes. And I didn't know this. He did a full-on movie as a single shot in 2021 called Boiling Point. That's similar to, I know you like The Bear.
Mm-hmm.
It's similar to that. It's a restaurant, and it's a drama, and it's really good. And I just stumbled across that. So there's a recommendation from me.
Well, speaking of streaming, there's also...
but I went to find this director because I thought, I want to see everything he's made. And then I started looking at what he'd made. And I'm like, I don't need to see Ned Kelly again. I didn't really enjoy The Escapist from 2002. The guy's just all over the place.
Going back to next Friday, there's also another... if you're, wanting to stay home and watch something on streaming, there's a movie with Vanessa Kirby that's coming out called Night Always Comes. And it's kind of it seems like a little bit of a darker, it's set in Portland. It's got Jennifer Jason Leigh, Julia Fox, Eli Roth, Randall Park. Like it's I don't know if I would say this is like kind of an awards movie, but it does feel
Like that.
Yeah, she's got she's got the basis of it is it's she's got one night to come up with $25,000 or everything hits the fan. So that's streaming next Friday. When we get into the next week, there's that movie you and I were talking about, Primitive War, basically Jurassic Park in Vietnam. That hits theaters on Thursday. Again, I don't know if that's going to be again up here in Cache Valley, but that is something that's coming. The 22nd of August, there's a couple movies. There's a movie called Eden that is really kind of interesting. It's Ron Howard, and it looks uber violent, and it almost is. I guess this is actually a true story about this community that was set up on an island, again called Eden. But this is a big cast. This is Jude Law, Ana de Armas, Vanessa Kirby, Daniel Bruhl, Sydney Sweeney.
That's interesting.
It's a big cast.
Now, has Ron Howard done anything since Solo? Is this his first movie?
No, he's done movies, but he's been flown under the radar. But this is kind of a big release. So this is August 22nd, Friday. There's another movie coming out that weekend that is like a Coen Brothers. I'm trying to remember. I think it's Ethan Coen. But this has got Chris Evans. It's got Margaret Qualley, Aubrey Plaza, Charlie Day. And this looks pretty funny. Got like some preaching, like what is it? The evangelical preachers Chris Evans is playing. It just looks
actually that alone would probably get me in. That'd be a funny role to see him in.
Yeah, and then there's another thriller that has Riz Ahmed and Lily James that comes out the 22nd called Relay, that also looks really good. So I should point out, if you're following along at home and you're like, sounds good, I don't know what we're talking about. These will all be up at Andy the Movies later tonight with trailers, so you can watch them. Again, going to some more as we get to the end of August, we'll probably see some more awards buzz start to come up, because that's the Venice Film Festival.
Oh,
that's always a big thing. August 28th, speaking of the Venice Film Festival, there's a movie based on a novel. This is another streaming one for those that want to stay at home and just kind of, cozy up on the couch. August 28th, it's called The Thursday Murder Club. Have you heard about this?
Yeah.
This is actually kind of a stacked cast. It's Helen Mirren.
Yeah.
Everyone's favorite grandma. Pierce Brosnan, Bing Kingsley, and Celia Emery, I believe, is the whole cast. It looks... I didn't even know this was a book, because clearly I don't pay attention. But, this looks kind of fun. So that'll be interesting. And then what I'm going to have a review with when we come in on August 29th, that Friday, what I will be bringing is a couple things. One, possibly three. We're going to talk about Jaws, because Andy, that's me, is going to go see that in IMAX. And again, no IMAX theater in Cache Valley, but if you want to see Jaws in IMAX, you have a bunch of options. You can go down to the Legacy Crossing, and I believe the Jordan Commons will also have Jaws.
Now that starts next weekend?
No, that starts August 29th.
Okay, so
last weekend, yeah. And that's kind of caps the Jaws 50th anniversary tour that weekend.
Okay.
So I'm going to go see that. I have a big Jaws article that I've wrote about just the impact of Jaws over the years, and like the kind of the ripples that we felt in the film industry. That will also go live that day. There's other movies coming out on the 29th, though. I don't know if you've seen the trailer for The Roses. It's a kind of a remake with Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman in the Michael Douglas, Kathleen Turner War of the Roses,
which was a really odd movie.
Yeah, it was dark good, comedy for sure.
Very dark and yeah.
And then another movie that releases is if this comes to Cache Valley, I'll be really surprised. But the Toxic Avenger, unrated, which almost didn't see the light of day until fans were like, "No way, man!" And it's got Peter Dinklage from Game of Thrones fame playing the Toxic Avenger, but it's also got Jacob Tremblay. It's got Elijah Wood and Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon, I believe, is the villain
Oh, really?
But I mean, I'm gonna say like I don't know if I saw the Red Band trailer or what I saw, but holy cow, this movie is gooey. That is like if you're going in, expect it is definitely a little gooey.
That looks. You know what I'm really excited about too? Another trailer. I watched this week. It hits Netflix, I think, in November. It's one of my favorite stories. I don't know why. And so every time someone makes a film based off of it, I get hesitant because nobody ever does it well. Ironically, Kenneth Branagh came the closest, even though Robert De Niro ruined it.
Oh, you're talking about Frankenstein.
Frankenstein, yeah. Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein comes out in November.
Yeah, that's
straight to Netflix, not theaters. But I'm really looking forward to that because I think if anybody could probably do that right, I'm a huge fan of the book. It's one of my favorite books ever, and I can reread it. I could probably reread it once a year, though I don't. It's just I really enjoy that story, and everyone ruins it when they make it into a film. They just I don't know how, but they always ruin it. And I think Del Toro is probably the one that
I have high hopes, but I agree with you. I don't think I
do it right.
Other than the classic Frankenstein, black and white, I don't know if I've ever seen a good Frankenstein movie.
I don't know why. I don't know how they ruined them. I did like.
Well, and clearly they're setting it up for awards too, because I mean, a November release is pretty awards season centric.
I did enjoy Poor Things, which was kind of
it was a riff on Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Speaking of horror movies, though, and I know you're going to be excited for this, the first Friday in September 5th, we have The Conjuring Last Rites, the final Conjuring movie.
I saw the poster when I went to Fantastic Four. I wasn't up on this, but...
Yeah, I'm excited. And again, I mean, we've had the cast, but I like that they're kind of putting a cap on it, and this is returning with like James Wan and the whole kind of original crew. So that makes me excited.
This should be fun.
The other movie that comes out on the 5th, I don't think, again, this will make it to Cache Valley, but I saw a trailer for this, and again, this will be up on Andy the Movies in my sort of early fall preview, is a movie called The Cut that's got Orlando Bloom.
I was reading about this.
Yeah, it feels like we're trying to do an Orlando Bloom comeback tour.
Yeah, he's trying hard.
Yeah, and this looks interesting. This could be something that really does kind of put him back on the map, where it just, completely flies under the radar. And also, I mentioned The Highest to Lowest, the Spike Lee Denzel Washington. That does hit streaming on Apple TV Plus on September 5th.
Okay.
But yeah, and then I know one you're excited for when we get to like September 12th. You talked about this last time with The Long Walk.
Yeah.
The Stephen King adaptation. It's got Mark Hamill.
I read this. An older cousin recommended it and The Long Walk to me and lent me the books, and they were actually the first adult fiction I read.
Okay.
I think I was 12. It was way too early. I was affected by Stephen King, and The Long Walk will always have kind of a special place for me. But this is perfect for a movie.
Yeah.
This story.
And that releases the same weekend as a couple other big ones. I shouldn't say big ones, but if you didn't know or want a documentary, or a follow-up to Spinal Tap, this is Spinal Tap. Yeah. Rob Reiner has Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues.
I don't think he should do this.
That feels like it should have been a straight to streaming.
Yeah.
That hits theaters September 12th. And then, the other thing, too, I've seen a lot of these re-releases that come out. Like, that's a big thing now. The Sound of Music is re-releasing September 12th. But Downton Abbey, the grand finale,
really,
the movie you never knew you wanted, is coming to theaters on September 12th. Somebody out there's like, hey man,
thank goodness,
you got a problem?
I'm trying to think of the people out there that were like, great, I couldn't get tickets the first time. Yes, you could.
Well, and again,
those theaters weren't selling.
These are as we get into September, there's so many film festivals happening, because we talked about end of August is Venice Film Festival. Beginning of September is Toronto Film Festival.
Yeah.
When we get into the end of September, it's the New York Film Festival. And things are a little bit like September, actually, I would say, is probably a little leaner than
it looks like it.
And then when we hit October, things really start to kind of roll in,
begging for those awards.
Well, yeah, you're going to have a lot of the awards, but also scary movie season is going to come. So
I'm looking forward to that, actually. Sit tight. This is the For the People movie show, and we'll be back with more right after this.
News Talk 610 AM, 102.1 FM, KVNU.
Friday Night Lights are back, and so is the best high school sports coverage in northern Utah. From Ridgeline to Bear River, Green Canyon to Logan, Skyview to Mountain Crest, Cache Valley Media Group brings fans full play-by-play action on the radio and video all season long. It's going to be an unforgettable year, and your business can be a part of the excitement. Put your brand front and center with thousands of loyal local sports fans. Contact Cache Valley Media Group today. Get your business in the game.
We're here with Chuck, founder of Dollar Loan Center, and I just wanted to say, welcome to Northern Utah.
We couldn't be happier to bring Dollar Loan Center to Northern Utah, with new locations open in Logan and Ogden. We've been serving Utah and Nevada with our short-term signature loans for over 27 years, and I can't wait to get started here.
What makes DLC's loans different than the rest?
Our short-term signature loans have the payday and title lenders panicking. In almost every instance, we're about half the cost of most lenders. Your first loan at Dollar Loan Center is even on the house. There's no application fee or any fees for that matter, and the first week of interest is on us. Just give us a try and see how much you can save.
Thanks, Chuck. Check out Dollar Loan Center and apply for a signature loan up to $5,000 online at don'tbebroke.com. New locations in Logan and Ogden.
Licensed by the Utah Department of Financial Institutions. Subject to approval, limitations may apply. See website for details.
That's our time for this week's For the People movie show, but Andy will be back next week with, with what?
Nobody 2.
Oh, this is, you talked about this earlier.
And we'll also talk weapons and probably Freakier Friday too.
You're a trooper for seeing that one.
Just a week later.
I'll check out weapons before next Friday. Freakier Friday, I put my foot down, so I'm out.
Not a Jamie Lee Curtis fan?
I like her, but no, Disney. Not today, Disney. All right. We'll be back next Friday with another episode of the For the People movie show. Stick around. Dave Ramsey is next here on KVNU Logan.